All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a tactical 7-skill playbook designed to help everyday vendors completely transform themselves into high-closing trusted advisors. So if you're looking to change up your strategy like right now and close more deals, you're in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
Okay, we're kicking things off with a massive reality check from our source material. Look at this data. Only 18%, literally just 18% of salespeople are actually classified by buyers as trusted advisors that they genuinely respect. Just think about that for a second. How many salespeople do your prospects deal with every single week? Is it 10, 30, maybe 100? If you're perceived as just another face in that incredibly crowded inbox, well, you've kind of already lost.
And here is the crazy paradox of it all. If you're marching east with that other 82% of average reps, you're just blending in and ultimately dying in the prospect's inbox. Being exactly like everyone else triggers this automatic defensive response from buyers. We have to immediately pivot and march west. We literally have to be the exact opposite of what they expect.
To join that top 18%, we need to master a specific sequence. Here is our agenda for today. First, break the pattern. Second, active listening and questioning. Third, psychology and objections. And finally, number 4, the assumptive close.
All right, moving to section 1, disrupt and connect. This covers skills 1 and 2. Let's talk about how you handle those absolute make-or-break first 7 seconds of any prospect interaction. Research tells us prospects make immediate decisions about you right here, so you definitely can't afford to just wing it. Skill number 1 is the pattern interrupt. It's a highly effective strategy highlighted by John Talks Media and founder-led revenue growth, and it basically forces you to take a risk to break the prospect's predictable conversational loop. Because honestly, when you sound like every other rep, their brain literally shuts down. You've got to be willing to be a little different, maybe even a little weird just to wake them up.
Look at the difference here. The average rep leans on tired small talk, like asking about the weather, which completely lowers their posture and, frankly, just bores everyone involved. But top performers, they cut the small talk, asking a pattern-breaking question like, "What's been on your mind lately with work?" That instantly changes the whole dynamic of the call. You're bypassing all the fluff and diving straight into a high-value conversation.
Building right on top of that is skill number 2, which is this amazing little hack from sales expert Daniel G. He suggests assuming immediate friendship to build instant rapport. Try using casual, familiar phrases like, "What's new? Give me the breakdown," or "Catch me up." This actually signals to their brain that you already share an inner circle. It creates this automatic sense of familiarity, completely skipping over that awkward stranger phase where, everyone is just guarding their wallets.
And according to sources like ACT, these disruption and connection skills perfectly anchor that critical very first step of your pipeline. You have to make contact and build rapport before you ever even think about pitching. If you skip this, or if you fumble those first 7 seconds, the rest of the pipeline just completely falls apart. It's like a house of cards.
Okay, section 2, listen and probe, covering skills 3 and 4. Now that we actually have their attention and rapport, we move to the diagnostic phase. Skill number 3 demands true active listening. This means taking your eyes completely off the script, blocking out all distractions, leaning in and actually listening to the prospect's underlying meaning. Not just, waiting for your turn to speak. As Smart Winner points out, you need to listen with your eyes to catch those nonverbal clues. And make sure to frequently repeat their points back to them. That validates your understanding and builds some incredibly deep trust. Skill 4 gives some much-needed structure to that listening by using the renowned SPIN framework. So you're moving systematically through situation, problem, implication, and need payoff. This entirely shifts your dynamic from selling to helping, making the prospect the hero of their own story. You aren't just pitching features here. You're guiding them to connect the dots between their daily frustrations and the massive business consequences of those frustrations. It creates this huge internal motivation for them to actually change. Now, if you're cold calling and you need to move faster, you can adapt this probing strategy into the PASS framework. That's problem, agitation, solution. This quickly triggers pattern recognition and creates immediate urgency based on their pain points. You state a problem they likely have, agitate it by highlighting the wasted time or money, and then, and only then, do you introduce your solution as the clear path out of that pain.
This data from Gong.io reveals a massive gap. Top-performing reps ask twice as many big-picture 30,000-foot business questions compared to average reps, who always seem to get stuck in the feature weeds. The absolute best sellers, they sound like strategy consultants, not feature-spewing robots.
Always remember to zoom out. Right, moving on to Section 3, Psychology and Friction. This covers skills 5 and 6.
So in real-world B2B selling, friction is absolutely guaranteed. It's going to happen. But what happens when that smooth conversation inevitably hits a speed bump and the prospect starts to resist? How do top performers handle objections without losing all that trust they just spent the last 4 steps building? Do they panic? Do they get aggressive?
Well, the hard data behind skill 5 is super fascinating. While average reps completely panic, speed up to an anxious 188 words per minute, and aggressively interrupt, top performers do the exact opposite. They slow down, pause 5 times longer, and calmly clarify. When faced with an objection, top performers actually ask over 23% more questions. They don't fight the resistance, they explore it.
Alongside handling objections calmly, skill 6 involves ethically using psychological triggers, like reciprocity and social proof, to lower the buyer's natural friction and build massive credibility. As Carew International outlines, giving insights first creates this subconscious urge for the buyer to give back. And showing that other similar companies trust you, that acts as a powerful vote of confidence, making it way safer for them to take the leap.
And remember, when you're navigating this friction, don't be afraid to embrace the pause. As this classic piece of sales wisdom from Tom Hopkins highlights, rushing to fill the silence will only kill your leverage. The first person to speak during a tense closing silence usually loses. You really have to learn to be comfortable in the quiet. Just let it sit.
And finally, Section 4, the climax, covering our 7th and final skill.
Okay, so we've disrupted their autopilot, we've connected on a human level, diagnosed their deep pain points, and gracefully navigated their friction. That brings us to skill 7, the assumptive close. This is a real game changer. It's a powerful psychological shift where you operate under the absolute certainty that your prospect is going to buy. It fundamentally changes the language you use. As Matt McNamara's methodology shows, if you know you're a right fit and you can solve their problem, you don't ask for permission anymore.
Look at how this strategy completely strips away the cognitive load for the buyer. Instead of begging for permission or aggressively demanding a signature, you simply assume the win and offer a logistical choice. Something like, let's meet next Tuesday to review pricing, or how many total licenses will you need? You're steering the conversation entirely away from heavy deliberation, directly toward easy, frictionless logistics. By applying these 7 essential skills, from mastering the pattern interrupt all the way to confidently delivering the assumptive close, you can permanently leave that 82% of average vendors in the dust. You step right into the role of a true, trusted advisor. But the real question I want to leave you with today is this: which of these skills are you going to implement on your very next call?